Torture, filtration camps and mass graves. With each settlement deoccupied by the Ukrainian army, the world learns about new victims of Russian soldiers.
Since the beginning of the deoccupation, the police in the Donetsk, Kharkiv and Kherson regions have found the bodies of 868 civilians, 24 of them are children, which is another confirmation of the fact that Russia is actually carrying out the genocide of the Ukrainian people. In the deoccupied areas of these regions, police investigators have already documented 2,670 war crimes.
Oleg, a resident of the village of Kozachya Lopan in the Kharkiv region, managed to survive after 8 days of being beaten by Russian soldiers. Man says 24 soldiers rode into his courtyard on an armored personal carrier. Oleg, his son and nephew were forced into a car, blindfolded and taken away in an unknown direction.
They put me in some kind of car, because I didn't see anything further, and they brought me to the basement. As it turned out later, it was the Kozachya Lopan railway station. Tied the hands like this, hung up, started beating. They didn't ask many questions, the reason for the beating, the reason for everything. They only asked why I didn't fight for the Donetsk or Luhansk People's Republics in 2014. You didn't care, it didn't matter.
The Russian invaders demanded an answer to their questions. Did Oleg participated in the anti-terrorist operation and later in the operation of the joint forces in Donbass? When the Russian military realized that they would not learn anything by force, they turned to blackmail.
They saw that they can't achieve anything this way, and they said that they will bring my 17-year-old daughter, untie my eyes and rape her right here altogether. And it will be on my conscience, but thank God they didn't do it.
The Ukrainian language, the presence of state symbols, the flag or coat of arms of Ukraine, service in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine are the reasons for torture, beatings, interrogations and killing of civilians by Russian soldiers. Experts say that this is one of the proofs that the army of the Russian Federation is committing genocide of Ukrainians on a national basis.
There are, let's say, irrefutable facts proving that those who speak Russian and Ukrainian in the same settlement have different fates. They are treated by the occupiers in a different way, and so we received signals about that in one of the villages of the Kiev region, where a small number of people spoke Ukrainian, they were subjected to, let's say, terror, and some of them were killed.
Evidence of the genocide of the civilian population in the deoccupied territories is being collected by Ukrainian law enforcement officers and prosecutors of the International Criminal Court. The main thing, experts say, is to document the intention of the Russian military, the destruction of Ukrainians as a nation.
In order to prove the facts of genocide, it is necessary to prove the intentions of those intruders, criminals, not just about the massacre of civilians, but precisely the intention to carry out genocide against, in this case, the national group of Ukrainians. And here it is very important to analyze the context, in particular what is happening in the Russian media space, those calls for the destruction of Ukrainians that are heard, and the policy of the Russian Federation, which is aimed at erasing the identity of the Ukrainian people, can also be an element of genocide.
The crime of genocide has no statute of limitations. Therefore, the Russian military who committed this crime in Ukraine and returned to the territory of the Russian Federation can be held accountable.
This may be a sentence that will be handed down in absentia and will include a system or international jurisdiction and the involvement of states that can use their territory as an opportunity for these Russian criminals convicted by Ukrainian courts to be on it. Or it could be, if there is a proper end to the war, coercion of Russia to extradition of these criminals who will be on the territory of Russia, for either bringing them to court or serving their sentence already in Ukraine.
Reported by Roman Smoler, Larissa Zubenko, UATV News.